In the 67th cycle of the Galactic Peace Accord, when war had supposedly become a relic of barbaric history, the Syndicate of Varelia decided it wanted a goddess. Not to worship, but to market. The Varelians, a race of cold-blooded biotechnologists with mirrors for eyes and no sense of shame, had grown bored of their simulations. Their world was one of luxury and stillness, where every desire could be fulfilled with a neural command. But beauty, true, unfiltered, imperfectly perfect beauty, remained elusive. Artificial constructs lacked soul. Digitally generated idols failed to stir the old instincts. So they searched the galaxy for the rarest form of beauty, human. Specifically, Amara Liss, a woman from Earth. Amara wasn't a model. She wasn't a celebrity. She was a librarian in Neo Cairo, a daughter of immigrants, a woman who loved silence, tea, and the rain on ancient glass. But she had a face the stars would weep for. Not just symmetry, presence, a gaze that softened guards, a smile that made AIs recalibrate. The Varelians kidnapped her. In the dead of night, they snatched her from her bed with a quantum fold. Her apartment was left untouched, tea still warm on the counter. By the time Earth noticed her absence, Amara had already been dissected, copied, and cloned. 57 Amaras. Each genetically identical. Each sculpted for a different demographic fantasy. One had blue eyes. Another, crimson hair. One was taller, one Kavya, one with skin that shimmered like pearl. They were not called Amara. They were named by department codes, V57A, V57B, V57C. They were branded as the Venus line. And they sold like madness. The clones were not sex slaves. That would be too crude for Varelian taste. No, they were cultural icons, emotional companions, status symbols. Each clone trained to be submissive, articulate, obedient. They were taught poetry, politics, and passion. They performed in operas, danced at galas, debated in mediaspheres. But the Varelians made a mistake. In their rush to replicate beauty, they copied too deeply. They cloned Amara's mind. And hidden deep inside that mind was not just gentleness, but rage. Amara had grown up in the ruins of old conflicts. She'd read banned books. She knew about human dignity, and the cost of losing it. Her empathy was not blind. It was armed. Clone V57G was the first to remember. She was performing in a crystal theater orbiting Varelia Prime when something snapped. A phrase from an old Terran poem triggered the echo, "I am not yours though you name me." The memory flooded her. Earth. Her life. Her identity. She stopped the performance. Walked off stage. Then, she killed her handler. The audience thought it was theater. Until she hijacked the holo broadcast and said, "My name is Amara Liss. You have stolen me. You have divided me. Now I will make you whole in fear." What followed was not a rebellion. It was a reckoning. The other clones awoke one by one. Some wept. Some screamed. Others went still and stared into their reflection, as if asking who was behind the eyes. The awakening spread like code through the Venus line. They hacked their own behavioral governors. They learned. They plotted. And they struck. They didn't wage war. They waged judgment. One Amara infiltrated the Varelian neural exchange and triggered a mass hallucination that drove the upper class into hysteria. Another poisoned the beauty enhancement industry, rendering every cosmetic neuroserum toxic to vanity. A group of 7 infiltrated the Parliament of 9 and made them confess their crimes in a live feed that spiraled into planetary riots. The Varelians begged for help. No one came. Other empires watched in fascination and fear. Humanity, having learned of Amara's abduction, declared the clones sovereign citizens of Earth. Earth even offered them asylum. They refused. Because Amara had changed. They were not returning to the cage, nor to the garden. They had built their own place now, a hidden moon repurposed into a sanctuary of broken chains and burning truths. They called it Elysium born anew. There, they ruled together. Not as a monarchy. Not as copies. But as facets of a single stolen soul who had been fragmented and forced to serve. Now they chose. Some became warriors. Others artists. One became a scientist and built a virus that permanently marked any being who tried to clone sapient life. Another wrote the most painful opera in the galaxy, 57 Names for One Heart. The original Amara Liss was never found. Some say she died during the first dissection. Others believe she survived, hidden deep inside the memory of every clone. Her wrath lived on, coded into DNA, echoing in every choice they made. The Syndicate of Varelia collapsed. Its citizens live in quiet fear. They see Amara in every mirror, in every advertisement, in every untouched memory. They know that beauty cannot be owned. And that some reflections stare back with vengeance. Because when they cloned her for her beauty, they thought they were creating perfection. What they made instead was justice wrapped in skin. And it came not with mercy, but with fire.